Check my voice. Check my voice. Check my voice. Is it clear now? Okay. This is 9:59, means our class time start now. 10 o'clock we have to start the class. Is the board visible to you? Indian freedom struggle phase 1 we are studying. So important questions also we will take together. Okay, you have to note down all the important questions when I tell you. Yes, very good. 24 students had joined the class. Once again, good morning to all. Subscribe the channel and like the video. And again and again you have to watch the video. That's why then you can understand the chapter very well. Okay, today we will start from Ilbert bill controversy. The topic is Ilbert bill controversy. Ilbert bill was passed by the British Parliament. Ilbert bill by British Parliament. What was provision given in this bill? In this bill, the provision was that Indian judges were given a power to try the case of Europeans also. In the case where the Britishers were involved in that case, so that case also could be tried by the Indian judges. That power was given by Indian bill. So this was the agitations of Britishers. This was agitation of Britishers, means Britishers were angry with that. They thought now Britishers can give us a severe punishment. So they did not want to have this type of provision. They revolted, and due to that revolt of the Britishers and the Europeans, that bill was taken back, yani withdrawal. This bill was withdrawal. Okay. So this system, this withdrawal of the bill was known as Ilbert bill controversy. एक सर इल्बर्ट थे, वॉयसराय लॉर्ड रिपन के टाइम में ये हुआ था. वॉयसराय लॉर्ड रिपन के टाइम में ये बिल पास हुआ था. और किसने पास किया था? ये किसने बनाया था? सर इल्बर्ट. सर इल्बर्ट in 1883. So these dates are important. Sir Ilbert was the founder of this, or framer of the bill, and the time period of Lord Ripon. Clear? Now case getting. Is the board clear to all? हाँ देखो, so I hope this paragraph is completed to you, understood. We have completed and you have understood that point. Due to that controversy, that bill was withdrawn because the Britishers were not happy and they revolted against that bill. That bill was given the permission to the Indian judges to try the cases of Europeans, involving the Europeans. Okay. Now the next topic is early political association. Early political association. Number of associations were formed there which were trying to get freedom and to inspire the people of India to take part in Indian freedom. So early political association. Early political association, number of associations were formed that time. After the 1850s, Indians began to form political association to work for their own welfare. On the first such association was the British Indian Association. First one was, first association, British Indian Association. It was an important association which was formed first, and it was formed by Surendranath Banerjee. Surendranath Banerjee. Okay, he was a great freedom fighter and who formed the association. And in 1852 in Bombay Association, another association was formed in 1822. Another was 1852 Bombay Association. You have to note down the names and dates. It will come in your exam. So Bombay Association was formed in 1852, that is important date, and the Madras Native Association also was set up along with that. Many associations were set up in the 1870s and 1880s. Number of associations which were working for the freedom fighting, that were founded by the different people in the different regions. These included the Purna Sarvajanik Sabha, Indian Association, Madras Mahajan Sabha, and Bombay Presidency Association. So question can come from this part. Name the association which were formed in 1870 to the 1880s. You have to note down. Name the question. Name the association. Note down the question. Name the associations. Name the associations which were established during 1870 to 1880. Note down fast. Note down fast, beta. Now the associations so formed were limited in both membership and agenda. These associations were having the different agenda and they were in limited area. Their membership also limited and they were in limited area. That's why it did not become too much popular. Okay. And most of their members were educated Indians belonging to the upper sections of the society. Their formers or their founders were belonging to the higher society. That's why they did not pay the attention on the poor sections or the low sections. Okay, this was the great reason. That's why they did not become a popular association. Question you have to note down that name the associations which formed during 1870 to 1880. Okay, note down the question. Name the associations which were formed 1870 to 1880. तो associations names you can note down: पूर्णा सार्वजनिक सभा, इंडियन एसोसिएशन, मद्रास प्रेसिडेंसी सभा, बॉम्बे प्रेसिडेंसी एसोसिएशन. Okay, clear? Now next point we are studying: the associations of formed were limited in the both membership and agenda. Their agenda also limited and their membership also was limited. Most of their members were educated and belonging to the higher society only. They were belonging to the higher society, and that's why they did not pay the proper attention on the lower sections of the societies. And they sent petitions requesting the government to reduce the taxes. They did not revolt, they sent the petitions. They requested to the government only to reduce the taxes, and requesting the government to reduce the taxes and discriminating the practices. Whatever practices were going on, that were discriminating the rights of the common people of India. And the introduced administrative reforms and gave Indians the greater role in the administration. They demanded to the people of the British government to give the Indians a proper representation and to reduce the taxes and to improve the conditions of the poor section. Okay, but the Britishers were not listening easily that type of petitions. Okay, and their petitions were ignored by the Britishers, by the government. Their petitions were ignored by the British government, and the activities of these associations, were also restricted to a specific region. These were in a smaller area only. That's why they were restricted. They were not properly treated. Okay, and the need for an all-Indian association which would be mass-based and strong in putting up its demands had been felt up for a long time. So Surendranath Banerjee brought people from all over India for the first All India National Conference. He was a great person. Surendranath Banerjee was a great person. He worked for the unity of the people. He called, or he inspired the people to be united. So number of people came together and formed the All India National Conference. They formed All India National Conference. They formed All India National Conference. With the help of Surendranath Banerjee, this conference was formed. Held in Calcutta in 1883. It was formed in Calcutta 1883. Clear? Understood all of you? I hope this point is clear to you. Surendranath Banerjee formed the All India National Conference, and it was held in Calcutta in 1883 first time. He convened another conference which was held in Calcutta in 1885. Another conference also was done in the same place by Surendranath Banerjee in 1883. Okay, so that question can come when Indian National Conference was held and where it was held. So that type of question can come in your exam. Okay, if you have any doubt, then you can comment fast, and you can have to like the channel, like the video, watch the video again and again, then you can understand the points. Okay, now next point, the Indian National Congress. Important question will be come from there. Indian National Congress is an important association or organization which worked for the government freedom of the India. Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress. Okay, getting? So Indian National Congress, while Surendranath Banerjee was busy organizing the conferencing in Calcutta, a retired British official, Allen Octavian Hume, A.O. Hume, he is known as A.O. Hume. He was a Britisher and called a meeting in Bombay. He wanted to create an association which would be under the supervision of British and would let the government know the demands of the Indian people. He wanted to set up organizations by which the Indians could put the demands in front of the Britishers, and that associations would work under the British government. So that type was the policy of A.O. Hume. Initially, the Indian people were not ready to join this association, but later when the objectives of this association they understood, so they started to join it. Okay. And he wanted to prevent another nationwide outbreak like the one that took place in 1857. He wanted to stop the revolts like 1857. Again and again they were working related to that type of revolt. They wanted to stop it. Okay. The meeting convened by A.O. Hume was held in Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit College from 28 to 30 December 1885. This became the Indian National Congress. The first meeting was held in 1885, and that meeting was given a name Indian National Congress. It became the first organization, Indian National Congress. It was attended by 72 delegates. How many delegates attended? How many delegates attended? 72 delegates attended this meeting. Okay. 72 delegates attended the first meeting from all over the country, and they included eminent leaders such as Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee. Note down the names: Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee, Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji, Firoz Mehta, Badruddin Tayyabji, and S. Subramaniam Iyer, Dinshaw Mehta, Dinsa Wacha, और काशीनाथ त्र्यंबक तेलांग, P. आनंद चार्लू, गोपाल गणेश अगरकर, and V. Viranga Chair, and V. G. Subramania Iyer, N. G. Chandrawalkar, and Ratulnath Shani. These were the important leaders who attended the first meeting, and along with that number of other leaders also were there. First meeting 72 leaders joined. Okay, and the Congress held its session. You can underline that word, name of the leaders who joined that, name of the persons who joined that meeting. Okay, the Congress held its session in different parts of India once a year. Initially, many British were also involved in its activities. Number of years, they decided to have the meeting on the annual basis. And initially, many British were also involved in its activities in the early years. The main aims of the Congress were that to bring together leaders from all parts of the country. The first aim was to bring the leaders. Okay. Yes, earlier it was a freedom party, but now it is a political party. It has changed after 1947. Okay. The same one which was developed that time, the working now also, Indian National Congress. Few changes were there after 1947 or 1950, because later it became the political party. And they discussed the problems related to India and to form an actions plan to get a concession from the British. Through that organization, they wanted to have a discussion with the great leaders of India, and they wanted to put the demands in front of the Britishers to discuss that and to resolve it with the proper solution. Okay. Now the next point is early nationalist phase. I hope you understood the point which we have studied recently. The early nationalist phase. Now we are moving early nationalist phase on page number 98. During the first 20 years of Congress, the early nationalists dominated the party. The early nationalists dominated the party. Swaminathan Banerjee, Deen Sawcha, Firoz Shah Mehta, Gopal Krishna Gokhale were some important early nationalist leaders. These were the leaders who put their demands on the basis of the request, petitions, urge, etc. They did not force to the British government. Early nationalists were the polite leaders. They wanted to have the British government here, but in the proper way. They wanted to formulate something, to change something, okay, and they regularly sent petitions and resolutions to the government asking for, okay, like freedom of speech and expression. These were the demands of the British, of the early nationalists to the Britishers. First, freedom of speech and expression, expansion of welfare programs, promotion of education, recruitment of Indians to high posts in administration, more powers of the legislative councils and more Indian members in these councils. So these were the important demands which were put by the British government, by the National Congress in front of the Britishers. That were the early nationalists. The more powers for the legislative councils means they demanded for the more powers for the legislative councils and more Indian members in these councils, holding civil services examinations in India and not just in England. They wanted to have a civil exam in India and in England both, okay, because it was not possible to go England to give the test, okay, and changes in the economic policies of the government so as to benefit Indian industries and a cut in military expenditure. They wanted to cut the expenditure of military because Britishers were paying proper attention on the military and they were spending a lot of money on the military only. They wanted to increase more and more soldiers, and so British Indians wanted to reduce it. They wanted to get the money used in the other features, okay, and the policy of the government so as to benefit Indian industries, a cut in military expenditure and stopping the drain of the India's wealth to Britain. The Britishers in the different ways draining the India's wealth and reaching that wealth to the Britain. Okay, so they wanted to stop that money and to use in the Indian affairs only. Clear? So you can learn the minimum 4 points from there. At least 4 points are asked in the exam. Okay, so all the points are important, but any 4 you can learn. Understood? So these were the demands of the early nationalist phase. देखो दो फेज थे, एक तो अर्ली नेशनलिस्ट थे, एक assertive nationalist थे. Assertive nationalists were the putting their demands by the force on the Britishers. They wanted to revolt. If they are not listening, then they put the forces and they forced to the British government to fulfill their demands. British attitude toward the Congress. अब हम देखते हैं कि ये तो इंडियंस कांग्रेस का एटीट्यूड था, और now we will see that how the Britishers treated to the Indian Congress. Okay, the British were favorably inclined toward the Congress during the early years of its formation. British were favorably inclined toward the Congress during the early years of this formation. Britishers were in favor in the initial phase of the Congress, because in the initial phase of the Congress, a number of leaders of the British were there, which were playing an important role. Okay, and some British officials even attended Congress sessions. They had seen but more than 50 students are here. 56 students are here. All of you like the channel. You have to like the channel now. If you are like the class, then you can like the video. Liked and subscribe also. 53 are watching and only 40 have liked the class. Why not others? You all have to subscribe the channel. When I will start the class in future, then you will get the notification related to the class after subscribing only. So you have to subscribe the class, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. You will get all the notifications of the next classes. Okay? Yes. So I was telling you that some British officers who attended Congress sessions and actively participated in the discussions. Many British leaders were there, delegates were there in the Congress. They were taking they were attending the Congress sessions and they were giving their suggestions, views on the topics which were discussed there. However, soon the British turned hostile towards it. They began to openly criticize the Congress. Slowly and slowly that Indians started to get to know the reasons or know the difficulties of the Indians, and Britishers were not trying to resolve the difficulties. So they started to agitate or angry. They began to openly criticize the Congress, started to criticize the policy of the Congress. Britishers also criticized to the Congress because when the Britishers saw the demands of the Indians, that's why that Britishers were not happy, so they criticized openly. यानी यहाँ तक हुआ कि जो इंडियंस थे कांग्रेस में उन्हें उनकी कॉमन गैदरिंग में भी बुलाना बंद कर दिया. Okay? They realized that instead of becoming a means to contain the anger of the masses, the Congress was becoming the center of Indian nationalism. They thought that in this organization is getting going to against the British government, so we should not follow it and we should stop that type of activities. Okay. Now the next, the assertive nationalist phase. These were the another phase, people who were putting their demands by the aggression. The future of the early nationalists to achieve political reforms brought forth new trends in the Congress. The new groups of the leaders were called assertive nationalists, that were known as assertive nationalists. Okay, and important word that Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Vipin Chandra Pal, popularly known as Lal Bal Pal. They were known as Lal Bal Pal. Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Vipin Chandra Pal. So you have to learn that question. What do you mean by Lal Bal Pal? Lal Bal Pal means Lal means Lal Bahadur Shastri, Bal means Bal Gangadhar Tilak, or Pal means Vipin Chandra Pal. So these were the three assertive nationalists or radicals who were playing an important role and who were putting their demands on the Britishers by force. Okay. These leaders felt that the present ways of the Congress were ineffective. They were in favor of more radicals. Okay, they were radicals. Radicals means they were aggressive to the Britishers. They put their demands by the aggression only. उन्होंने कहा था कि अगर ब्रिटिशर्स हमारी डिमांड को नहीं सुनते हैं तो हम हंगामा करेंगे, हम धरना देंगे और हम जगह जगह पर रिवॉल्ट्स करेंगे. And their main objectives, they were in favor of the more radical objectives and methods. They called for strong political actions such as strikes, boycotts of the British institutions and goods, and mass demonstrations to spread awakening among the people and to achieve political reforms. The way to put the demands were different than the early nationalists. Their ways were to strike. They striken and they boycotts, or they were having the mass demonstrations. Different actions were taken by the assertives, and assertives were angry. They were angry to the British government. A number of revolts were there here and there. Bal Gangadhar Tilak called for the attainment of Swaraj. Underline that point. Underline that point. Bal Gangadhar Tilak called for attainment of Swaraj. He declared, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. He declared, Swaraj is my birthright. It is a important slogan given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. स्वराज मेरा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार है और मैं इसे लेकर रहूंगा. ओके, क्लियर? Now next point, but if you have any doubt then you can tell, you can chat. Now next point is partition of Bengal. Partition of Bengal, 1905. Okay, it was done by Lord Curzon. Lord Curzon was Viceroy of India, of Bengal that time. He divided the Bengal into two parts. On 19 July 1905, this action was taken. Okay, so Viceroy Lord Curzon issued an order dividing the provinces of Bengal, then consisting of present day West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha and Bangladesh. This region was known as West Bengal or the Bengal region. Bengal region consisting the present day West Bengal and Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha or Bangladesh. These regions were known as Bengal only. Okay, you can underline into two parts, and Lord Curzon divided that Bengal into two parts. One part Muslim majority region, Muslim, and another part Hindu and others. On the basis of religion, he divided that region, and this was not good for India because they had Priyag Verma. What happened? In which the majority of the population was Muslim, was separated from the rest of the Bengal, which had the high percentage of Hindus. I told you on the basis of the religion, Muslims and Hindus, two parts were there, and The official reason of the partition was that since Bengal was too big, official reason what they shown to the people, that this region is too much big and it is not easy to run the administration of this much big region. So we are going to divide it for the best or smooth administration. Okay, to remove the difficulties for in running the administration. Understood? And the real reason of the partition, however, was different. The reality was different. This reality came to know Indians also, that why the British had divided the Bengal. Okay, the national movement in Bengal was very strong. The partition was a deliberate attempt to weaken it by sowing seeds of disunity between Hindus and Muslims. This was the main steps or main motive of the Britishers to divide Indians on the basis of Hindus and Muslims. They divided them on the basis of their religion. They wanted to disunite them. Okay, it was a main motive of the Britishers. The partition of Bengal was widely criticized. This was widely criticized. Number of demonstrations, number of revolts here and there were there. People were not satisfied with this partition. Okay, all the sections of the population rose in oppositions. All the sections of the country were in oppose. They wanted to create or they wanted to get it withdrawn. Demonstrations and public meetings were held throughout Bengal. In all the regions of Bengal, number of strikes, number of revolts, number of demonstrations were there. People opposing that directly. Demonstrations and public meetings were held throughout Bengal. People of all communities tied scared thread on each other's wrist to express their solidarity and unity. All the people, Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, Isai, all were together. They were showing their tightness of their thread of the unity. ओके, मीन्स उन्हें वो कहते थे कि हम एक धागे से बंधे हुए हैं, हम यूनाइटेड हैं, हमें कोई डिवाइड नहीं कर सकता है. ओके, द डे ऑफ द पार्टीशन टुक इफेक्ट ऑन 16 अक्टूबर. ये इफेक्ट में कब आया? 16 अक्टूबर 1905 को ये इफेक्ट में आ गया था. द पार्टीशन ऑफ बंगाल एक्ट वाज came into effect on 16 October 1905. Clear? Then it was observed as a day of mourning. Mourning means दुख का डे था, ये दुख का mourning. डे ऑफ मॉर्निंग और दुख की घड़ी मानी गई इसे. ठीक है, ब्लैक डे भी कहा गया. नो बिजनेस वॉज कंडक्टेड इन दिस एंटायर प्रोविंसेस. ऑन दिस डे नथिंग, नो वर्क वॉज डन. एवरीवन वॉज हैविंग अ holiday. The national movement, instead of weakening, became more organized, radical and mass based. Due to that national organizations, this revolt spread in all over the country, in all parts of the country. Okay. I hope this is clear to you. If any doubts are there, you can ask now, or later also you can ask. Today you have to revise the same paragraphs which we have studied. Okay, now time is getting over, so we have to leave the class, and you have to subscribe the channel and like the channel. Many students dislike. I don't know why. If you are disliking, before disliking, you can tell me why you are going to dislike the video. Okay. If you are not understanding anything, you are not liking, then you can suggest what improvement should be there. Okay? Clear? Thank you so much.